let's get back to this game. Ohio State, PJ Fleck said this is the best team he's probably seen in about 10 years. I believe coaches when they say things like this. Ohio State is the number one team in the country. But let's talk about this game. Let's talk about the coaches. Let's talk about the philosophies. Let's talk about the players that you need to watch. Let's also talk about the history. Ohio State has clearly dominated the history of this game. 68 wins to 30, 6 straight since 2011. I believe that was the last time that they beat them. But this year in college football, I think things kind of always turn out differently than we anticipate. Ohio State has kind of been the anomaly, you know what I'm saying? Like the outlier, right? So let's talk about the philosophies of both of these teams. Ryan Day and their system with Brian Hartline, we've seen Chip Kelly. Year before that, it's hybrid NFL offense, speed, spacing, and surgical precision. That's what you're going to get out of their system. Brian Hartline, he's the offensive coordinator, outstanding recruiter, specifically at the wide receiver position, was a wide receiver coach for a very long time. And I believe this offense is the offense that has been refined. And it hasn't been refined because of the lack of talent. But I think this system has been refined to make Julian Sand comfortable. And guess what? Julian Sand is comfortable 100%. Let me get this video back up. I don't think I put the loop on it. No, it ain't it. Where's it at? I did. Let's loop that bad boy. We good. So I believe so far this season, he has made the system really easy for Julian Sand to run. And I believe as the season go on, he's going to start giving him a lot more. They're in 11 personnel a lot. They're in 11 personnel an awful lot. They're not afraid to use condensed formations just to create space. We all know about how great Jeremiah Smith is. When you think about the 2027 draft, that's the first person you think of. But for me, when I think about who's the best player in college football, I think without a doubt it's Caleb Downs. And as great as Jeremiah Smith is, and I know some people say, hey, they're 1 and 2 and it's here and here. To me, it's here. Caleb Downs is clearly the best player in college football. The way that Matt Patricia uses Caleb Downs is crazy. I think when Matt Patricia got there, I think he looked at what Jim Knowles was doing that worked really well, but what are some things we probably could have added on and that maybe Jim Knowles didn't have quite enough trust with them. So the way that they disguise their coverage is absolutely amazing. So let's talk about Bielema, Coach Bielema, and everything he likes to do with Illinois. I believe he's one of the last throwback power football coaches that there are. I believe that's why Illinois, when they thought about, hey, who are we going to replace Lovie Smith with, they went and got somebody like Bret Bielema, who has experience in the SEC, who has experience in the Big Ten, and is going to play a style of game that's not going to get them embarrassed. Indiana game being an outlier. But a lot of times, it's just not going to get them embarrassed. The offensive coordinator, Barry Lundy Jr., really like what he brings to the table as a coordinator. I really love the trust and the relationship of Luke Altmyer and Barry Lundy Jr. You guys heard me say that a million times heading into the season. I love their gap scheme runs. Love it. The power G that they'll run, their counter trade that they'll run, mixed with the wise on RPOs. That they put linebackers in conflict. That's what they want to do. They want to punch you in the mouth. But while they punch you in your mouth, they kind of want to be masters of disguises as well. I think that's incredible. Quarterback Luke Altmyer. You guys know. You've seen me do it on the show time and time again. Yeah, he did. I agree, Jalen. He definitely gave Iowa a backhanded comment. He sneaked this like a mug. But this week, he carried it different. He carried it 100% different. There's not too many quarterbacks in clutch situations I trust more in college football than Luke Altmyer. I really don't. They just always find a way. He just always find a way. If it's a close game, they're finishing with the ball, and they got to go get points. I don't care if it's 3, 7, whatever they need. I trust Luke Altmyer. I really do. I think he's an outstanding quarterback. Caden Valentine, we was kind of trying to figure out who was going to be the guy for them with McCray hitting the portal. He's now in Athens right now. But Valentine, he brings a little bit thump to him. 323 yards, 3 touchdowns on the season. And I talked a little bit about Barry Lundy's system, but they're not afraid of unbalanced sets. They're not afraid to go extremely run heavy either and use heavy personnels. And they do something that's really interesting. At times, they will slow the game extremely down. Like, hey, we're going to play the possession game. We believe that if we can keep this time of possession, where it's us by about plus 7 or 8, and then we give ourselves an opportunity to win at the end of the game, we trust our quarterback more than you guys trust your quarterback, right? But they've run a I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain it. They will go tempo sometimes. They really will. But a lot of times they're just trying to slow the game down. Aaron Henry. You ask the average Illinois fan, they're not a huge fan of Aaron Henry. I believe that things are getting better. I believe that the Indiana game was bad. It was rough, but they lost their game in all three phases of the game. Special teams, offense, and defense. I agree. I think that is 100% true. But he runs the 4-2-5 nickel. 4-2-5 is kind of the way you have to play in college football modern times with all of the spread offenses and stuff, even though the Big Ten as a whole is kind of a throwback. But he will use mixed formations. He'll also throw that 3-3-5 stack in there as well. Also simulated pressures. That's what a lot of defense coordinators like to do. They got guys that can get to the pass rusher. Gabe Jacques, one of the best defensive players in college football. He truly is. So they will get those mug fronts, those double A gap looks. That's what Illinois likes to do. Really will. And they utilize their safeties. We've seen safeties have a lot of success there. We've seen defensive backs have a lot of success there at Illinois. So that's what they do. I love the guy, Myles Scott, that they got at safety. Yes, 31 tackles already. I know some people probably like, that's not good. He's probably getting a lot of tackles after, people are catching the ball. They're not afraid to put him in the box at all. So for this matchup breakdown, here are the main things I'm looking at. I'm looking at Illinois offensive line. Can they win a war of attrition on the line of scrimmage? You guys hear me say that almost every segment, but I don't think you all realize how important that is. Can they win the war of attrition on the line of scrimmage? And it's going to be their offensive line versus Ohio State defensive line. And can Ohio State defensive line neutralize Illinois' defensive line? That's going to be about. And then Jeremiah Smith, how you guys going to play him? He going to get his, right? Are you comfortable with containing him? Are you going to try to completely shut him down? That's why I'm looking at Aaron Henry and say, what are you going to try to do to win this game? I already talked about time possession. But Illinois got to dominate here. They really do got to dominate here, and I believe in that 100%. So let's look at some of the metrics of both of these teams. Ohio State 5-0. Illinois does have one loss on the season. Both teams, believe it or not, averaging 37 points per game. Ohio State is only allowing 5 points per game. You see quarterbacks, coordinators, because a lot of people like to just blame it on quarterbacks. They just look completely lost. We seen that in Minnesota this past weekend. Also seen in week 1 versus Texas where they was just like, is the light bulb on up there? Like, that's what they've made offensive coordinators do. So I wonder what's Bret Bielema's plan to win this game. Will this be like what we saw, wasn't in 2022, Jalen? Correct me if I'm wrong. Where you guys beat mighty Penn State. Y'all ran the ball a bunch of times, won the time of possession game, and figured out a way to win this game. I think a lot of people are waiting for the Ohio State and Penn State game. I think this game right here, I'm telling you, it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting. I think Ryan Day is going to want to score points early, get a lead, and then allow that outstanding defense to play the way that it's been playing. Truly. We talked about both of it. We talked about Matt Patricia, how he liked to disguise his coverages, how he makes quarterbacks see ghosts. If Luke Altmyer finishes with the stat line of 0 interceptions and Illinois wins the time of possession, I think Illinois win this game. I know it sounds like an upset of epic proportions, but week in and week out, it's been happening. Anything is possible. Give me Illinois and Champaign 27-23. They play the time of possession game, and this game may rear its ugly Big Ten head. But watch out for Illinois in this game. I really like them, and I trust Luke Altmyer in the clutch more than I trust Julian Sand. Julian Sand is an outstanding quarterback. I'm not saying that Julian Sand's potential isn't through the roof, but Luke Altmyer is money in the clutch. He's absolute money. So give me Illinois in this game, 27-23. I like this game. It's a really sexy matchup, but give me Illinois in this game.